before, welcome back. Guess what we're going to do today? We are going to make a quick reversible hat for Halloween. I got a fluffy brim and I've got reversible colors. You're going to have to stick around to the end to see what the other side looks like. All right, let's get started here. From a gold fabric that I really liked, and then I had some scrap fabrics that I put together, interfaced the back, and then cut this out as a cone also. So we're going to have a two-color hat. And what I'm going to do to start with here is I'm going to start with my cone. I'm going to match up my fabrics. My interfacing went a little bit over, so I'm going to do this. And ordinarily, I like clips for this stuff, so that's what I'm going to use, is clips. I'm going to clip here, and I'm going to clip down here where the two fabrics meet. I may have to refold that just a hair. And I will trim that piece of interfacing off whenever it's done. I'm just going to make sure that my cone is all the way put together, and I'm going to sew it with a 1/4 inch seam, which is what the pattern calls for, right down that edge. And I'm going to get out a handy dandy hair elastic here. I want to have a hook to be able to hang this up. So I'm going to put that right into the seam there at the top, so that when I sew it down, I have a way to hang the switch hat up. If I can get my pen to go through. There we go. That's why I don't like pens too much, because Arthur doesn't let them work well with my hands. All right, so that's where we're going to start. We're going to sew our cones together. Okay, and so then we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam here on the cone part. Quarter inch seam, 2.5 inches long. That is the measurement that was called for in the pattern. My interfacing is fusible and iron-on. Cut close to, but not on, the seam I just sewed, just to make sure that everything is trimmed up the way I want it, and that I got everything in the seam. I'll turn it out. going to use the blunt tip of my scissors, push the top of my hat up. Okay, and there's one part of my reversible witch's hat. Now we'll do the other. All I'm really worried about is that point up there so that it will turn out well. There's my little hanger, so I have a way to hang this up for future use. So there's the two parts of the cone. I did have to join my fabric together here to get it wide enough for the piece I want, but I kind of like how that seam goes around, and I don't even think you can see it on camera. Nope. Okay, so now that those two parts are done, now we're going to sew the outside of the hat brim. I've got a 1/4 inch seam. I have it pinned, and I have it pinned outside of the seam line. Okay, so now that we have that sewn, we're going to go ahead and take all our pins out. The entire section. And now I'm going to turn this back out. We don't need the pattern anymore. That can go off to the side. And here's where we get out tools that your grandma had and you weren't sure what they were used for. These are pinking shears, and these are used to trim around the edges of circles so that you can have full seams, but they replace having to put notches in the edge of a circle. Some of you may remember that I went through all of my scissors a while back and got rid of any scissors that didn't work well. I still have 4 pairs of pinking shears. That's what these are. And in my opinion, and as you can see, they still work faster than having to go around and do little notch cuts all the way around a circle, especially on something as big as this brim. I just went around all that in about a minute. This is what it cut off. Just that little bit right there. I did not cut into my seam line and I didn't make a mess. So that's all done. Now, the only, and I'm going to join, my brain just went, what? I'm going to put them one inside the other. And I'm going to join them at the edge. Now here's their seam, and I'm going to nest them right there at the seam. And I'm going to put a pin in to hold that. Then I'm going to stretch both of them across. They should be exactly the same size because they were cut at exactly the same time. And I'm going to pin straight across from the first one. And then I'm going to join the two sides. Trying to keep this in camera so you can see it. And I'm putting a pin in every 4 or 5 inches. And I'm not worried about what's down inside. I'm just worried about keeping those edges pinned together. And if you're noticing that I'm having a hard time, it's because my shoulders and my hands are both going, what are you doing? But I am trying to make sure the edges of everything line up. Come all the way around. You slide your piece over the arm of your sewing machine. And you're going to start 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to repin mine. It's worth that little bit of an extra step so I don't break a needle going over if I miss one from the other side. So I'm just going to repin here. Doesn't take 2 seconds to do. Or it only takes a few seconds to do. I don't run the risk of breaking a needle and hurting myself. All right, so we're going to slide this up onto our sleeve arm, which is what this is called. I'm going to start sewing right here. Again, 2.5 inch seam. I'm going to take my pins out as I go, and I'm just going to follow that curve around. And there's the double pin. See that there? So we're done sewing. I'm going to cut my 2 threads. I'm going to go ahead and take those pins out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my arm back on my machine because I don't have much room to wear kits. So we're going to do it that way. Hide it back on there. I'm going to use our pinking shears one more time. I'm going to start cutting just past where I left that opening. So I don't want to use the pinking shears on the opening. And I may not actually have to do this, but I'm going to do it. Because I do have some fabric down here that is a little longer than I want. I need to make a pinking rotary blade. Martelli needs to make a pinking rotary blade because my Martelli rotary cutter is my personal favorite. You may like others. For me, the Martelli is the best option because of arthritis. And the pinking shears are having a harder time here because the one fabric is all of those pieces that are joined together. And now we're going to turn this right side out. Once again, all the way up to my cones. And then the way this is going to work is one of these is going to sit inside the other. And all of you armchair quarterbacks who are going, oh, I would have done it this way or that way. Believe me, I considered this way and that way. Okay, so now let's take our iron and use it to get this all ironed together. So it took a minute for the iron to get hot, but I've gone ahead and ironed this down and just went all the way around the edge so it's all ironed. And we're going to set that aside for just a minute while I turn this back to right side out. But I want to take a second and iron down that piece of fusible that wants to lift there, because I want it to stay where it belongs, of course. All right, so here we go. Here's the true test of our pinking shears. Turn it out. Then we're just going to lay it out flat. You can use a pair of scissors, a purple thing, a chopstick, a paintbrush, whatever you like, just to make it all push out there flat. I don't think I need the pinking shears anymore, but I'm not going to put them away until I'm done. So now all I'm doing is just ironing our brim flat. And actually, for a pattern for something like this, you could actually use a bucket hat like everybody makes in the summertime. You could use the pattern for a bucket hat for the brim and then just make cones that are wide enough to go around your head. And this is just, Halloween costume fun kind of thing. So you don't have to get super duper crazy with it. And now I'm going to iron back in my 4 points. Just because I want to be able to match up the 4 corners or the 4 hemispheres of this. So we're going to lay it down flat. I'm going to get it as flat as I can. And I'm going to iron here and here. And I don't care about up there. What I care about is these edges here. So I'm going to fold them together. And I'm going to use the iron to mark it. So here's the next to last piece. I'm going to hold my comb, if there's the word, upside down. And see my little fold there? I'm going to match it up to the fold here. And I'm going to put the pins on the outside this time. Already learned that that's the better way to do it. And I'm going to go over here to this one and match these 2 folds up. And I'm getting both layers. I thought about putting it together so that each layer was attached separately, but I could not wrap my brain around that. If you can do it that way. and I would love to see your results. And obviously, I didn't follow all of the pattern instructions because her hat was not reversible. That pin just earned retirement by bending. A lot of layers here. So if you don't already have a semi-heavy duty needle on your machine, you may want to change your needle. And just as an FYI, I use 90/12s unless I'm sewing jeans or really thick bags. You may be able to tell what I'm doing. You may not. I am kind of folding everything out so it's in a circle shape, and then I'm pinning it together. Just to make sure I don't end up with gaps around my hat. Back to the sewing machine, back to having our arm off so that we can do this. Once again, 1/4 inch seam, and I'm trying to flatten the curves to the hat itself. I tried to get you guys as close up in there as I can. Okay, so here we are at the end. This is my cute little hat. I think it's adorable. I'll probably put a piece of binding around the yellow side so that you don't see the little brim that's sewn up there. And I may go back and do some sewing around the edge of the brim here. I may put my name on it. Who knows? Isn't that what we all do? We embroider our own names on everything. I want to thank you for sticking around here to the end. I hope you had a great time watching this, and you will see my hat at least a few more times throughout the holiday season, the Halloween holiday season. Um, Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Bye for now.